So pumped to have you in here, man. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time.
Happy to be here.
And I want to talk about your last film, or your most recent film, I should say,
Yeah.
which is Have a Nice Trip, which delves into psychedelics in a way that I hadn't seen presented before, and it's told through so many different lenses. You know, you bring in Sting, you've got Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys, you've got Sarah Silverman, you've got Ben Stiller. I mean, it's just like on and on. These folks sharing their perspectives, their experiences with experimenting with psychedelics, and you tell a really wide-ranging story with a lot of different threads. You
Mhm.
know, and it's a beautiful film. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend everyone check it out. It's a really, for so many reasons, it's just a brilliant piece of work. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I want to start kind of at the seed of inspiration for that, because I think that when a person watches it, there's a lot of takeaways.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if you went in with a motivating interest.
There were two things that were motivators. One was I'm in comedy. I write comedy. I look for comedy. I love documentaries, so there's always been like, I might do a documentary sometime. I was actually at the Nantucket Film Festival with Ben and Fisher Stevens, Ben Stiller and Fisher Stevens, and Ben shared a story about taking acid, and it was so unexpected, but also kind of expected that like whenever you have a dinner with 5 or 6 people and like psychedelics come up, at least half of them share some story. And this was 11 years ago. And it really felt like, why is none of this public? Why does it still feel like I shouldn't tell anyone? They'll think I'm crazy. I did this crazy drug. Like it's crazy, and it was sort of like, but everyone does it and is fine. And a lot of people have done it and had transformative, amazing life affirming or life changing experiences. Um, why is it so stigmatized still? And maybe an interesting way to explore that is through celebrities and through comedy, which just sort of like lowers your sensors a little bit to go like, oh, I'll listen to funny stories, and then maybe you'll get a little more out of it. So it was a combination of destigmatization a little bit and normalizing a conversation about them. But first, like, oh, this could be funny. This is an uncomfortable area to explore.
And the film is made up, as I said before, it's kind of a tapestry of firsthand experiences.
Yep.
From, you know, you got Sting turns out to be this incredible storyteller that really threads the whole piece together in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your seminal experience. What can you go back in time prior to the movie and talk about experience you've had that maybe was transformative or at least opened your eyes to the potential of all this?
We went down to this shack by the river, and it was completely dark. And we went in, and the shaman gave us it was like this incredibly foul tasting root mixture. And what we were told was, you're going to take this. And then the animals from in the jungle will come and visit you, and then the shaman will interpret that for you. So it was like, cool, this sounds great. And we sat back, and we had spent the day before, of course, walking through the jungle. And one of the things my wife loved was these leafcutter ants. We followed a trail of leafcutter ants for like 3 miles through the jungle, carrying leaves, like diligently working. And my wife was like, that's like me. So I love that. I love the order, and they're so organized. So she closed her eyes and immediately fell asleep.
This is after she's taken
Yes.
the ayahuasca.
Yeah, and she immediately fell asleep. She loves to sleep, so these are two of her favorite things: was ants and sleeping. She fell asleep. I could feel her head lay on my shoulder. And the next day, she woke up and she's like, "I dreamed these beautiful dreams about ants." I'm like, "They're my guide and whatever." So she became obsessed with how ants organize their life, which is an interesting thing. I had this experience where I sat back and I was really, eyes wide open, but it's pitch black. And you get little bits. The moon is outside, and there's like little cracks, I guess, in the shack. And there started to be little bits of light coming through those cracks, and they turned into eyeballs. And there were like these pairs of eyeballs. And I was like, I think somewhere in my mind, the Southwest Native American myths were also in my brain. Your brain's very, inclined to suggestion or so anyway, these wolves came out of the wood and just started circling me, and I was like, oh, and you could really feel them there. And I was like, whoa, there's like wolves, and what are they doing in the Amazon? I don't know, but it really felt like they came to kind of check me out and go like,
Were you fearful at that point?
I was wary and ready for anything, but it definitely felt like they were kind of giving a sniff and going like, "Are you ready for this? Are you cool? All right, we'll let you in."